Well, let's start with 32622. We have a date in Ventura. Um, when's the last time you've been to Ventura?
Oh, the last time was about I think 6 months before COVID hit. I'd say about 8 months, maybe. I
Uh-huh.
think we ended a tour at the Ventura Theatre there, and it was absolutely fantastic. I remember it vividly because the two guys we started off with uh, from Side One Dummy were there, and we had a great time, and the gig was absolutely fantastic. Had a great time.
Nice. Is there anything special? We generally have a lot of visitors, to our site through that are Venturians. Is there anything that you specifically like to do in Ventura? Or any kind of foods you eat out here, or any
Well,
special spots?
I mean, it's always, for us being on the road like we are, to get a hotel every now and then that's on the sea is really nice. We
Yeah.
had that. I remember we had that. That was fantastic. Um, as regards food goes, you know, anything will do me. Being Irish, once it's not a potato all the time, I'm pretty good.
You guys also have a new single, These Times Have Got Me Drinking. Uh,
Mhm.
it is an amazing song, and obviously nothing less but amazing comes from you guys almost at all times. It's very, very, very few and far between do you see a band that just comes out with bangers on a constant basis. Um, Tell me a little bit about this song and um, what were you guys thinking in the creation process?
Well, we were in Detroit where myself and Bridget live, and the band had come. We decided after St. Patrick's Day of last year, we did a live stream from Dublin, and we decided, look, this does not seem like it's going anywhere right now, i.e., the pandemic. So why don't we get together in America in a few months, in a couple of months, and start writing a new album? So I got back to the grindstone back in Ireland. I wrote a load of songs and came back to Detroit in America, and all the band came in. We set up in the basement in our house. Our tour manager, Casey Cress, he's our sound engineer as well. He brought a desk with him, came down, we set up in the basement, and we just were writing songs and writing songs. And this was one song that I said, you know what? I've got this idea. And I don't know what you think of it, but it's like these times have got me drinking. And it started when I said it to the band, they were like, oh, hell yeah. You know, if anything, these times have got us drinking. And so
The bang.
we sat down in the basement, Leon, and we trashed it out. And lyrically, it's actually quite a sad song in the sense that it could go either way, couldn't it? These times have got me drinking, and it's a hellraiser barn burner of a song. But when I read the lyrics, I go, it's actually it's quite, it's quite sad in a little way. And I think it summed up everything we were all going through at the time. So I'm sorry about this, but I'm in my mother and father-in-law's house right now, and their phone's going crazy.
It's okay. Don't
Anyway.
worry about it.
But yeah, no, and like it just, every song on this new album, we rehearsed, we spent 14 days, and we came out with 14 songs. It was incredible.
Is there anything, do you normally write in Dublin?
I usually write in Ireland. We live in Wexford, which is about an hour and a half south of Dublin. And we live in the middle of nowhere. We live in a little village, and there's nothing really around. So it's a great place to go to just sit in my little room that I feel comfortable in, and I'll start writing, I'll get an idea and start working on it. I don't know what I do is I always have ideas for songs, and I go back and listen to them on my recordings on my phone. And I start from there. Something that I haven't worked on in years, I'll play it back, and it'll spark something. and that's great. But what I always try and do as well is not to fully, except for lyrics, that is, not to fully finish the song, so that everybody, when we do get together, has an input and where something they feel, hear it going. You know what I mean? Keep the excitement in it when you get into a room with everybody.
You guys, I mean, literally bring a piece of Ireland into the mainstream, and you get to feel that for a brief second while you get lost in your music, and it's really beautiful, man.
Well, we've always considered ourselves like a soul band, in the sense that, you know, we're singing from our hearts and our souls. And, you know, I mean, when I was going through the wilderness before Flogging Molly, I didn't know where I was going, Leon. I mean, I didn't have a clue. And once I heard Bridget Regan playing fiddle, it kind of, you know, just it brought it right to me. Right now, I may not physically be able to go back home, but I think musically, spiritually, maybe I can. And music was the way to do that. And this is what it took for me to, I had to leave Ireland to go back to Ireland, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
I get it. Life is all about memories. And I was wondering, what is your favorite and most cherished memory about being a member of Flogging Molly?
Well, I'll tell you, there's many, you know. I mean, you know, I write songs, especially the lyrics, on my own, in my own space, and to see thousands of people in an audience celebrating that fact is unbelievable. But I think mostly, I've had a few families come up to us and tell us that a loved member of their family has passed away, and that they have my lyrics on the tombstone. And that is something, when you're writing something, that you never ever imagine that you're ever going to touch somebody in that way, where they're putting words that I've written on a family member's grave that will be there forever. And that to me is, it's so, I mean, it's so hard to describe. It really is, Tim. I mean, yeah, I mean, it makes it all sink in about how lucky we are as a band to be in a situation where not only bringing joy to ourselves, because we do love what we do, but to be bringing joy to other people, even in the saddest of times, is an incredible thing.
That's really, really beautiful. One of the things I came across while looking you guys up is you guys have one of the only people who've ever played in a Roman Coliseum. Was there anything, what do you remember about that day?
Where the hell did you get that from?
Is that not true?
Oh, it's true. Yeah,
oh.
I've never been in a billion years ever thought that I'd ever be asked about that. It was so bizarre. It was in France, believe it or not. And it was a full-on Roman Coliseum. And like, you walk through a tunnel from the back area, and you literally walk out and you're in a Coliseum. And wow, I didn't know where the tigers were going to jump out of, but you know, but it was incredible. It really, really was unbelievable. There's several places that come to mind when you think of I mean, there's so many places. I mean, but that was, I remember, you know, the artist Jessie J. Well, she was meant to headline that show, and we were on the bill with her for whatever reason, but she decided to cancel because she got something else to do. So we ended up closing the show, which I'm really glad, because it was dark, and the lights around the Colosseum was unbelievable. But you could sense, you know, the Colosseum itself was almost as old as I am. And it really, no, it was one of those things that, you know, I mean, we've played shows like in Italy, literally on a cliff looking over the Mediterranean. You know, there's so many places around the world, but that was Et tu Brute. That was amazing.
Dude, that's beautiful, Dave. Like, that is like to know that somebody has done something like that, especially you guys. It really makes me happy for you guys. Well deserved.
But being in a gladiator skirt is not my look. I have to.
All right. I got a few questions. They're faster questions, faster pace.
No worries, Tim. No worries.
All right. Right now, what are you streaming video wise?
Video wise, what am I streaming? I've been streaming a few videos from a friend of mine, Mighty Steph. He's an Irish artist who lives in Atlanta, and he's going to be coming and playing a few stages on the cruise with us. He's one of those people that is an amazing songwriter. Just getting the breaks is the hard thing, you know. People like that. I've been checking out Ferocious Dog. Have you heard of them?
Ferocious Dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
English band. We're actually going to be playing in England in the summer, and we've actually gotten them to come on tour with us, so we're really looking forward to that. But yeah, no, I am, as I said, I mean, you know, even getting on this call with you was a labor of, I mean, you know, I've gone from playing Roman Colosseums to doing Zoom, so I'm a little bit rusty, you know. But no, I mean, I don't know. I'm a huge, like, old school, like, I love watching old, very unseen, rare videos of the Clash, say, something like that. You know, so I do enjoy that, but I mostly listen to, as opposed to looking on screen. I mostly listen to music, you know, and it all depends what mood I'm in. If I'm drunk, it's always usually Irish music. You know, when I'm sober and you know, running around the house, it's usually good time 80s music that you haven't heard in a while, you know, 70s, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, I really recommend people like Ferocious Dog and the Mighty Steph right now.
Amazing. So the reason why I even bring this one up is because I do a radio show, and I have messed up before, and we were talking about it amongst our friends, like, what's the biggest mess up you've done on air? So I was wondering, what's the biggest blunder you've had on stage?
Well, that would be New York City. And I have a brain fart right now, so, but I can't remember the where we were playing. It's now since closed down, which ironically we went back and we were the last band to play before it closed down. So I think I made up for my error the first time. What happened was myself and Bridget have an old Japanese friend of ours that lives in New York, and he took us out for sushi. And so we went out before the show. We had some sushi, but unfortunately, some sake came along with that. And Tim, I'll be honest with you, it's never happened before, and it's never happened again. But I don't remember the show.
Oh shit!
Yeah, apparently I was making up all new lyrics. I was telling the audience where they can shove themselves.
Oh no!
You know, but in a funny way. The band apparently couldn't play because they were laughing so much. But
Went
I
from a
do not
music to a
like
comedy show.
it turned into a stand-up, yeah. And I truly, I really, that was one of my hearing about it, because I don't remember it, and it was the one time where I went, you know what, there's a fine line between going out and, having a good time and making a disgrace of yourself and not respecting the situation and how fortunate you are to be in it. And therefore, all I ever do right now is I'll have a Guinness, 1 pint of Guinness, and I will have a hot toddy before I go on stage, and that's it. And then after the show, whatever happens after that. But that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of a disastrous show. It's got to be bad when you don't even remember it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic. But
so I guess that goes into my next question is, how do you get pumped? So you get pumped with a pint of Guinness and
yeah, I mean, getting pumped is like, I think if you ask anybody, everybody has their own routine of going on, because at the end of the day, Tim, it's a nerve, no matter how long you've been doing it for, it's a nerve-wracking experience. For me, going on stage after all these years, I'm still petrified, and so I have my routine where I sit on the bus and I look at the set list that I've made up for that night. And then an hour before the show, not a second before or a second after, I'll open the pint of Guinness. And then I make a hot toddy. And then I go to the dressing room and we all have a bit of a laugh. And then we all go on stage and let's see what happens. But yeah, everybody's got their own little quirks,
Yeah.
It's funny. I was reading about Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl the other day was saying pretty much the same thing. He'll open a beer at a certain time. He'll have a whiskey at a certain time, and then have one more beer, and then maybe one more whiskey, and then that's it. It's like, but yeah, I mean, I learned my lesson from that gig in New York. It was, yeah, it was dreadful.
If you had to pick a dream concert from anyone alive or dead, you get to pick 4 people to be on this concert, in this concert, what 4 artists would you choose?
Wow. What a really, really, really tough question. Well, I would say, first of all, I'd say The Clash.
Oh yeah.
I've never, we in Flogging Molly were very fortunate to play a show with Joe. I think it was probably one of the last shows he ever played. And we were fortunate enough to play a show with him. It was in the House of Blues in Las Vegas. And we were on the Warped Tour at the time. And we got an opportunity to literally go for a quick day and go right back to the Warped Tour. So we did it, and it was an unbelievable experience. I'd love to see The Clash live. Never got to see them live. I would have loved to see Led Zeppelin live.
Yeah, me too.
I actually had a ticket. Oh, there you go. Well, I had a ticket to go and see their concert at Nebworth. I had a ticket. All my mates were going, and I had a job in Dublin. I was working in a neon sign factory, and I needed to get an extra day off to get my pay so I could afford to actually go on the trip. And my boss wouldn't let me off, so I couldn't go. And my Led Zeppelin jacket that I'd made to go to Nebworth, it made it. My ticket made it, was sold to somebody else at Nebworth, but I never got to see them. And then unfortunately, not shortly after that, John Bonham passed away. So I never got to see Led Zeppelin. I mean, there's so many. I mean, oh my God. That's one of those questions, Tim, that you'd love to know a few days in advance, because it just everything comes screaming at you, But yeah, I think the Clash in their heyday would have been something else. I've been very fortunate to see a lot of the great bands that I've always wanted to see. But yeah,
those are
and
two.
which is great though, because I actually, when I first moved to London, when I was 18, I was in a band called Fastway, and we were rehearsing, and Topper Heaton came in, and from the Clash, and he said, "Oh, is it okay if I get behind the drums?" And we just started playing. So I actually got to play with a member of the Clash, but unfortunately, I never got to see them. But yeah,
You've lived an amazing life, and
I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky, Tim. I've toured the world with several amazing people, you know, and I think that's why I never take what I do for granted, because I've been very, very lucky, you know, and you know, like even that last gig in Ventura, remembering that, and just remembering the camaraderie, the crowd, and you know, it's almost like being with people that you've known for years, you know.
yeah,
It's a wonderful thing that, you know, no matter where you go, you look out into the audience and you see people that you've recognized for the last 25 years, you know, and it's fantastic.
I have two more questions for you. I won't take up
Absolutely.
that many questions or much of your time. What is your mom or dad's signature dish?
Well, they've both passed away. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a funny story then. My mom and my dad, we lived in a tenement house in Dublin called Beggars Bush, and we had one room and a kitchenette. That's all we had. There was no bathroom, no nothing. But we had a piano in the room. And not every Saturday night, but every second Saturday night or so, they'd go to the pub. And what they'd do was they would put on, this is no word of a lie, they'd put on a pot of pig's feet and a pot of ribs. And they'd put them on low. Now, my father died when I was 10, okay? They left me in charge of these ribs and these pig's feet, right? And so I had to make sure they didn't boil over, just keep them on a simmer. And what would happen then was they'd come back from the pub and they'd bring everybody back with them. So the table in the room would be pulled to one side. The pot of ribs and the pig's feet would be put on the table and everybody would eat. And then they'd all sit on the floor and my mother would play the piano. And everybody in the room would sing a song. And I remember I used to have a spoon. That was my microphone. And I used to sing into the spoon and I'd sing, I don't know. They used to be playing songs from all over the place. But that was my memories of food with my parents, was pig's feet and ribs, both boiled. No grilling whatsoever.
Do you think that's why you chose music? Because of
Yes,
those fond times, you know,
Oh,
your mom and dad just laughing and singing and
yeah, 100%, Tim. 100%. I mean, it was because I was encouraged to sing along with the people. I wasn't told, well, I'd know where to go in bed because our bed was right in the other corner. So it was either lie in the bed or
participate.
Or participate. Yeah. So and it was great. And music was always, I mean, I'll tell you a lovely story. When I moved to London, I auditioned for a band, the band Fastway. I auditioned, but we couldn't afford the airfare. So my mother, she used to clean houses for a living. And this one house that she used to clean, the lady's name was Mrs. Murray. And my mother borrowed the money from Mrs. Murray for my airplane ticket so I could go to London and audition for the band. You know, that's how much my mother knew. My mother and father, they absolutely loved music. They really did, you know. And it was, you know, like my dad was a huge Johnny Cash fan and the Dubliners. And that's where I was brought. And it's kind of ironic when you look back on it. Like the Dubliners, who were like, at the time, an Irish punk rock rebel band, and you Johnny Cash. And I think Flogging Molly kind of isn't too far from that, you know? You know, it definitely has the soul of that.
Yeah. That's fucking beautiful, Dave. In my last question, and I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for the stories. Thank you for being so kind, so entertaining. And you have definitely touched my heart.
I'm so sorry that took so long, because I'm so, as I said, technology minded. I am so bad at that. I really am.
Is no problem at all. And just don't forget that, you know, we have 326 2022 at the Ventura Symphony. Also, that used to be the old Discovery. So if you're listening to this, it's the old Discovery. And my last question is, you walk into a room with everyone you've ever met in your life. Who's the first person you look for, and why?
Bridget, my wife. Because I remember the first time I walked into a room and she was there, and the rest is history. I mean, I didn't know she was a musician. Obviously, I just walked into Molly Malone's, actually, and I walked in, and I was doing an acoustic show on my own, and I walked in and I seen this. I seen Bridget, and something hit me, and I'd never felt that before, and it took a lot of encouragement on my behalf to go up and say hello to her, because I was terrified, you know, and so I did. I had a drink ticket. That was one of my payments. I got 2 drink tickets, so I went up to the bar and I bought a drink with my I got a drink with my drink ticket, and I seen her, and I said, listen, grow a pair of balls, man, and go down and say hello to the girl, you know? So I went down and introduced myself, and she said, well, I play fiddle. I was like, what? She goes, yeah. So the next day I was in her apartment, and the next show I did was with Bridget. And that's the room. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Dave, thank you so much.
Mr. Amoroso, you're a lovely man.
Good luck with everything. Good luck with Ventura. You guys are gonna kill it. You guys don't need luck. Just thank you for letting me be a part of your world for the past 25 minutes. I appreciate it.
Well, if we get to see you, we'd love to see you. Okay.
Well, I'll be there and I'll look for you.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
See you, Tim. Thank you, sir. All the best.
You as well.
I'm actually waving to you right now.
Oh.
All right, sir.
All right. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.